Hello and welcome to my 2024 financial goals. I know it's a little late since we are over a month into 2024, but I wanted to write up these goals and put them out there so hopefully we can reach them. I also want to do a bit of a recap of my 2023 finances because even though I wasn't documenting my journey here, I was still tracking my income, savings, debt, and expenses. I've never been someone who made specific goals, and usually with my finances, I've always had the mindset of just saving as much as I can and never spending any money. That always left me feeling like I never had any money and feeling guilty anytime that I had to spend money that wasn't an absolute necessity, like housing or utilities or groceries. It's not really the healthiest relationship with money. My main savings goals have always been focused on long-term goals like saving for retirement, but I don't want to go into debt right now by maxing out my retirement accounts that I can't access for 25 years. So I'm setting these goals to better allocate where my savings and spendings will be going this year, so I feel more comfortable with my budget in the present, since I'm fairly comfortable with my retirement savings for now, since I know they should continue to grow and compound over the next 25 years. My first goal is related to income, and this is an income goal based on my and my husband's full-time jobs. I am expecting that we will earn at least $155,000. This number is actually less than what we earned last year when we brought in about $172,000. But this year I will be taking 3 months of unpaid maternity leave, so $155,000 is a very realistic goal for the year, and if we earn extra, then it's just a bonus for our savings and debt payments. My husband and I are in our 30s and we both work in the tech industry, kind of defense adjacent. But my workplace is a not-for-profit and he works for a very small company. So that's why we're not making exorbitant salaries like you see in many tech industry jobs. But we still make a very decent amount. Next, we have a few savings goals. Starting with retirement, my husband will be contributing to his Roth IRA $6,000. This is an automatic payment for $500 a month that we set up over a year ago when the max contribution limit for the Roth IRA was $6,000. Now I think it's increased to like $7,000. However, we are just going to keep our contributions to $6,000 for 2024. His contributions in 2023 were $6,000. My husband also has a simple IRA through his employer, which is similar to a traditional 401k retirement plan, but it's for small employers and has slightly different contribution limits and rules. Last year, my husband contributed $14,040 to his simple IRA, and this year we will continue to do the same. These deductions come right out of his paycheck before it hits our accounts, so I usually don't account for it in our budgets. My retirement goal is to save about $10,000 towards my retirement account through my employer. Last year, I contributed the max of $22,500, but this year I plan to contribute only about 10% of my pay. I only need to contribute 4% to receive my employer match. I've been maxing out my retirement account for the past 4 years, so it feels like a huge step back to be cutting back on my retirement savings. So a 10% contribution feels a little bit better than a 4% contribution, so that's my goal this year. I don't know who would make a goal to contribute less to retirement, but here I am. Additionally, I have an after-tax brokerage account through Acorns that I have a recurring weekly contribution of $5, plus a 3 times roundup on purchases. So I'm estimating it will be about $360 this year. Last year, I contributed $1,466.04 towards this account. So I'm planning on contributing less to this account as well. If you're new here, I had a daughter last year in October. So my goal this year is to save $5,000 in a 529 for her. The 529 is a tax-advantaged account that will be used for education. I don't believe that there is a limit for how much you can contribute to the 529. However, in the state that I live in, you can claim a tax deduction for up to $5,000 contributed. There were recent changes towards this account, which allows for some of the contributions to be rolled over into a Roth IRA if they are not used for education expenses. So even if our daughter has other means of paying for college or she doesn't go to college, then she can still use that money in a tax advantaged way for her future. Last year, we didn't plan on opening a 529 for her. However, we did contribute almost $2,500 towards a sinking fund for her expenses, so at least that's something. You'll see that after I go through our debts, fixed expenses, and sinking funds, that we should have about $30,000 additional savings that we would like to put towards home renovations and our emergency fund. Last year, we added about $10,000 towards our emergency fund, so now it's at $15,000, which is approximately 2 to 3 months of our expenses. So it will be nice to increase that cushion. However, we may have some home repairs that we need to make. In 2022, we replaced the old electric heat pump with a geothermal system, and we were able to save up the remaining $19,569 that we needed to pay that off before the interest started accruing. So technically, that was a debt that we had. However, we knew that there would be 12 months of interest-free financing and that we would be able to save off that full amount and pay it off before the interest was due. So last year, we were able to save up about $30,000, so I believe we can do that as well this year. Moving on to our debts. If you saw my debt confession, you would know that without our mortgage, we are almost $100,000 in debt from student loans, a car loan, and a retirement account loan. If we include our mortgage, it's over $500,000. Most of our debts are low interest, so paying them off early is not a huge priority. If we just pay the minimum towards the student loans this year, we will pay $4,584. If we just pay the minimum on the car loan this year, we will pay $8,087.82. And if we just pay the minimum on the retirement loan, we will pay $6,141.72. If our mortgage stays the same, over the course of this year, we will pay $32,465.40. But this amount could increase if property taxes or insurance go up, since part of our mortgage payment goes towards escrow to pay for those things. That puts our total payments towards debt at $51,278.94, and our debts should decrease by about $33,000. Last year, we did not make any payments towards our student loans until October, which was also the same time that we took out the car loan, so we made much fewer debt payments than we will be making this year. I did count the car down payment as a debt payment, and we also paid off a lawnmower at the beginning of the year. So our total payments towards debt in 2023 were $50,675.58. And again, about $22,000 of that was towards interest and escrow payments for insurance and taxes. Besides just making our minimum monthly debt payments, my goal this year is to not take on any new debt with interest. Last year, we financed a new truck right at the same time that we had to start paying back student loans and when I had a baby. It felt like such a huge financial hit after I had had so many years with only interest-free debt and the low-interest mortgage. I like being able to save up and pay cash for large purchases and earn interest on my money instead of paying it. This year, we need to make some big purchases like a new roof, and we would like to make some big purchases like remodeling our grungy 80s bathroom. But we will only finance what we know we can pay off within a deferred interest period. And if that kind of financing isn't available, then we will use our savings for our needs and wait for our wants. Our final goal is to have a low spend year and to keep our variable expenses, which are our sinking funds, to $20,220 for the year. Last year, we put $24,857.74 into our sinking funds and spent $23,106.19. So we are trying to spend about $3,000 less this year. I am anticipating that our fixed expenses will be about $4,600, which is an increase from last year's $2,691.49, since both our car insurance and utilities have been increasing. Let me know in the comments what your financial goals are for 2024. If you have income, savings, investment, or debt payoff goals, I would love to hear them. I post my budget plan and recap every month, so if you're interested to see if I meet these goals, I would love to have you subscribe and follow along. Thank you for being here.